This episode is sponsored by Overcast, an independent podcast app that embraces the open world of podcasting instead of locking it down. No exclusives, no premium content, no paywalls, just a great podcast app for everyone. Get it for free in the App Store. Hello!
Hello! That was 8.3 seconds.
Oh, fuck, shit, fuck.
It's gonna ruin the rest of the recording!
You know what? Let me tell you a little secret about me. I never actually use the whole 10-second clip to create my noise removal filter.
You just love being a puppet master and making me sit here in my own house in silence.
Yeah, I'm the Dom, and you're the sub-Dom.
That's good.
That's a good one.
Little do you know, I've been also moving our relationship in that direction, and I'm loving everything. I'm loving the whole... It's the best revenge.
I was thinking about, professional dominatrixes.
Yeah, it's a recession-proof business.
Like, right now, I bet they're, Skyping. Does anyone Skype anymore? They're like...
There's the punishment.
They're video conferencing with their sub, and they're like, I'm not here to grind your balls with my foot, so you do it. And the guy's like, okay, I guess. Okay, I guess that's what I'll do.
I wonder, though, because that sort of verges into, more middle management territory, and I don't know if I would continue to... if I would continue to use the services of a dominatrix, were that the relationship. I feel like, well, if I gotta grind my own balls, why am I paying you $50 an hour?
Excuse me.
Hello! But,
Welcome, ladies...
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Blastropodcast presents Muffed Movies! I'm Andy.
I'm Mark.
And this week, we've got a real treat for me, because I love this movie. And it's one of the few films that I haven't minded going back to watch again in preparation for this podcast. Sharp-eared listeners may have noticed times in the past when I haven't actually bothered to go back and watch the film again, figuring I could count on my 15, 20-year-old memories of having seen it to get us through.
And largely you did.
Yeah. It's let me down a couple of times.
Oh boy. And in spectacular fashion.
But luckily Mark's able to go in there and pretty it up, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Through the miracle of editing, I just replaced some of the flubs with an entire episode featuring David Flora and Grant Green instead of Andy.
Yeah.
That's how I saved Jurassic Park.
Oh yeah, that's right. That is all fixed in post.
What's the name of tonight's feature film?
Why, it's The Thing, Mark.
Right, but what's the name of it?
Oh, Mark, I understand what the confusion is here. You think we're doing vaudeville again.
Some sort of bullshit.
We're doing John Carpenter's The Thing. It is a time of isolation. Deep in the heart of unfriendly Antarctica, a group of men hides from the elements in a scientific base. But they are not the only group of men on this forbidding continent. Other international compatriots share the rock with them. But their feeble isolation and peace is about to be shattered by a perhaps unwelcome interloper.
Morty.
We don't even do a smash wipe because right over the crawl flies a spaceship. What am this? The beginning of Star Wars?
Wow, 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 wow. It's a flying saucer out in outer space.
Yeah, but it's certainly not flying at the moment. It banks left. It banks right. It banks at a distance in an emergency like this one. Right, Mark?
She banks. She banks. Oh, she moves. She moves.
The out-of-control spaceship enters into Earth's atmosphere and streaks downwards like a comet.
Poof.
Ow.
We see a title that reads John Carpenter's The Thing.
Smash wipe. A Norwegian helicopter flying over the forbidding Antarctic wastes. It chases a... What's this? A dog? What use could a helicopter have with an ordinary snow dog?
Quiet, Scotland, brothers.
Sorry.
The two Norwegian helicopter pilots really have their courage screwed to the sticking place as they dive bomb the Alaskan Malamute that they are chasing seemingly senselessly across the vast and desolate plains. One of the Norwegian men grabs a sniper rifle, leans out the side of the helicopter, and takes a shot at the poochity pooch.
Pew!
Whoa, the shot totally missed, dog.
And the shot totally missed dog.
Thank you.
The dog appears to be moving with what you might call human intelligence, looking over its shoulder up at the helicopter, swerving left, rolling here, diving under cover.
Launching flak into the air for the missiles to be distracted by.
Smash wipe!
2. The United States National Science Institute Station Number 4, or the NSIS 4 as I like to call it. It's an Alaskan science research base. It's still cold as the devil out there, but it is inhabited by a crew of hurly-burly 1980s men, each of which has like one two-dimensional characteristic that I'm sure we're going to enjoy.
Yeah, it's sort of like Aliens all over again, but different.
This is such an Aliens, because it's the 80s, there is, spoilers, aliens, and there's just men.
Yeah, but it's even more aliens than aliens.
Oh, like that Rob Thomas song, More Human Than Human?
It is funny. I predict that I'm going to have difficulty with this one because they don't even bother to give half of these guys a character trait. Like, I don't know. I wasn't even sure which one was like the doctor, because it seems like they all just kind of take turns doing medical stuff.
I had to look up all of their job titles on like the fandom wiki for the thing because they never really get into what they do. They rarely mention last names. Every man on this base is just basically a face and a haircut. 2 bits.
Yeah, what's the difference between guy with the earring, guy who gets locked out in the cold, and guy that gets his hands bitten off by the thing, because they all are some version of doctor?
There's a bunch of men, and they're just kind of standing around. No, they're not. There's a bunch of men, and they're hanging out in the rec room, which is the best room on the base.
Get out of here, I'm gonna smack
they're
you with a
playing
towel.
ping pong, they're checking equipment, and
Hey, what's
everybody seems to be drinking.
Why don't you give me that whiskey? No, I'll never give it to you. I gotta drink it myself.
The only man unaccounted for is the solitary badass loner, RJ Mac McCready. He's the base's helicopter pilot, played by who?
Kurt Russell.
What's it? Kurt Russell, down on the farm.
Like
Played by Kurt Russell. And we see him drinking a whiskey and playing a computerized chess game.
Your move.
This tells us
King
that
to
he's
D3.
a badass, but he's also a smart
My
strategist.
Move. Queen to king's right.
Pop-up fact, that computer was voiced by Adrienne Barbeau.
Really?
Yeah.
Her big breakout role. King, your move. Queen to H9. My move. Checkmate. Checkmate. Checkmate.
What? Then Kurt Russell says something pretty chauvinistic towards the computer. Take my alimony, did you? Pours the whiskey into like an open circuit board in the side of the machine, totally destroying it, ruining it for everyone.
Luckily, that is the only woman that we will see throughout the course of the film.
Right. There's no romantic interest. There's no other room for these boys to behave badly towards women.
Smash wipe!
Ooh. A ghost walks in front of the National Science Institute station's gate, and then a dog, that same dog that was on the lamb, suddenly rips through the ghost's ectoplasmic body, sprinting through the gate. The helicopter circles the base, confused as to what to do next. Do they interfere with U.S. government property in the attempt to snipe this dog? Yes, they do.
One of the Norwegians pulls a grenade from a case and just fucking whips it in the wrong direction. Like, if you watch the movie, they had to have thrown it out the wrong door of the helicopter.
Yeah, they didn't, I mean, I assume in the real movie, they didn't want that explosion going off anywhere near the stunt dog.
Why not?
'Cause dog is sacred.
This was 1982. We for sure did not give a shit about dogs yet. Milo and Otis had only come out like 3 years before.
Yeah, that's true. That is a slaughter fest.
Maybe John Carpenter's just one of the good ones.
You know, I know of another Carpenter who was one of the good ones.
Calling occupants of interplanetary craft.
The helicopter lands. The sniper.
Welcome to the helicopter lands. Come, weary traveler, climb inside me. Let me take you, I can show you wondrous things.
We see the subtitles from Norwegian as the sniper says, "Thank you, old druid, but I have no time for this. I need to kill the beast before it harms anyone else."
You shall be back in time. They always are. The helicopter druid takes off and flies over the horizon.
The sniper sprints after the dog. Meanwhile,
Shit.
Is that the dog or the sniper?
That's the sniper. He's saying it in Norwegian. And the dog is saying the same thing, but in dog. Or in alien. Spoilers.
The helicopter pilot jumps out, and he wants to get in on the action. So he pops open a crate of grenades, pulls the pin, and whoop! Mr. Butterfingers drops the grenade into the 5-foot deep snowdrift right next to him.
Scheiße! Schnell!
He's panning for grenades, but too little too late. Kaflooey! The grenade goes off, totally killing the pilot and blowing that helicopter sky high.
Oh dear. Old friend, it was your time. I'm soon to join you in the lands beyond the sun. The druid helicopter flies sadly away, weeping tears of gasoline.
Oh, Andy, I'm refreshed at how quickly we've jumped the rails from the movie.
Sorry. Hey, we're like 15. There's like 15 minutes of that helicopter chasing that dog. We're right on track with this guy. I feel good about it.
You could listen to this episode of Muffed Movies while playing the actual movie, and it would work out perfectly.
The dog races across the snow and leaps up to on the meaty figure of George Bennings. Is George the nice dog owner guy, or is he a different guy?
No, he is a different guy. George is the balding, red-headed guy with the orange beard.
Oh, yeah, George Bennings.
He's a biologist.
What? How are we supposed to know that?
Because as soon as John Carpenter's The Thing starts, there's a message from the future that says, in about 30 years, there will be a wiki called Fandom. Please look up the name of every character, and you'll see their occupation. You'll need it for when you're making fun of this movie on a podcast, whatever that is.
I need him to at least look at a petri dish full of some krill or something, because there is don't make a guy a biologist if he's not going to do any biology for the whole movie.
You know what? Later in the movie, he does mention the Nobel Prize. That's something that scientists care about.
Oh, that's right. Shit. I'm sorry. I sound like an idiot now.
It's okay. Let's just delete everything we've done and start up.
Thank you. The dog leaps up onto the apparent biologist, George Bennings. George.
Oh, what a pleasant surprise,
says the dog.
The sniper finally catches up with them. The dog has positioned itself just behind George Bennings' leg. The sniper yells at the men in Norwegian, trying to pantomime that they need to move away from the dog, but none of them really take him seriously.
What's that guy's problem, do you think?
I think he's lost his marbles.
Yeah, he must be dreaming or something.
Yeah. Hey, you want a Frankenfurter? One of the guys whips out his dick.
No, I'm not falling for that again.
Oh, it's cold.
The sniper, fed up with waiting for the men to listen to him, raises his rifle and fires off 3 shots, catching George Bennings right in the leg, and sending the dog racing off again towards the shelter of the base.
Oh, my lucky leg! Little does that Norwegian sniper know. M.T. Gary, commander of the base, dressed in his full khaki uniform, has been watching this whole ordeal from his window. He smashes out the window with careless disregard for government property. He extends his dirty, hairy revolver.
Smile, you son of a bitch.
And he squeezes hot lead out of that barrel and right through the sniper's brain parts. Oh, my Leberschustafel!
The men, fired into action by this display of violence, race howling across the snow towards the burning helicopter and start extinguishing it with fire extinguishers.
One of them uses a can of spray whipped cream.
Sorry.
It felt small when I grabbed it.
That's what she said.
Hey, fuck you!
McCready comes out, not helping at all, and looks coolly at the other men actually doing stuff, and pithily says, "First goddamn week a winner."
McCready lowers his shades, and his piercing blue eyes make contact with every man in the semicircle. All of them blush just a little bit. No one wants to tell him it's not actually winter, they're just in Antarctica.
It's always like this, Mick. Come on, man.
I tell him, but I'm too shy.
Hey, this where we're gonna get you your first kiss.
Thanks.
Smash wipe!
The infirmary. Dr. Copper. The guy with a... Does he have an earring or a nose ring?
He has a nose ring, that's what it is. It's It's so strange because he looks like an old fisherman, basically, but he's got a nose ring, and it's very incongruous. And I found myself wondering, like in the 80s or like late 70s or whatever, did having a nose ring, was that associated with like a different type, you know?
Like a water type or psychic type?
Yeah, a Pokemon type. That's what I meant.
I don't know. I mean, nose rings certainly were like a punk thing in the 80s. I think I noticed that the actor was also wearing like a copper bracelet. So maybe he was like I feel very much that that's the actor's choices rather than in the script or like Carpenter's. John Carpenter's. East Carpenters. Anyway, so he's got some interesting accessories. If you get his action figure, just take a good look at all of them.
Yeah. And enjoy yourself. Hey, if you get his action figure, just have fun with it. You know, you can make your own stories with Dr. Copper.
Like Dr. Copper walks through my freezer.
Dr. Copper, Barbie's new boyfriend.
Dr. Copper, dressed in his rubber band armor.
Dr. Copper, impersonator of cops.
Dr. Copper, lost in my rectum. Should have attached a handle to him.
Dr. Copper stitches George's leg back together. Well, sit still, George.
All right. You know, I'm a meteorologist. So I'm not used to all this biology.
No, you ain't. You is a biologist, didn't you?
Did the guys who were muffing this say that already?
Didn't we just establish that you's a biologist?
This defies the tiny notes, but I'll obey.
George, hang on. George Bennings, didn't Mark just tell me that you was a biologist? Isn't that what we was talking about?
Yes, I did. Booms the righteous, gigantic voice of Mark.
Well, it makes way more sense that we'd have a meteorologist down in this godforsaken hellhole than a biologist. Ain't no biology down here for 1,000 miles.
Hey, real quick, why do you think the Norwegians would want to kill a dog? The bounty hunter.
Oh, I'm confused. I thought you was Mark asking that out of character. I don't know. I was about to explain to Mark that the conceit of the film is that the Norwegians know that the dog is an alien.
Hey, man. Hey, man. Why do you think those Norwegians would want to kill that dog?
I'm sure I don't know. Maybe they went stir crazy. Sure isn't much to do down here.
No, that's awful true. I wonder what Windows is doing over in the radio room.
I wonder what Windows is thinking in that head of his.
Smash cut, the radio room. We see the ever-presently wearing... We see the...
No, I need you to finish that sentence.
Never. We see the perpetually be-sunglassed radio operator named Windows trying futilely to reach anyone on his squawk box, but nothing but static is coming in.
Forsooth, this is the U.S. Naval Base. Does it have a name? Sergeant Gary? Sergeant Gary? I say, Sergeant Gary?
This is Sergeant Gary. What is it? What is it, Windows?
Does the base have a name? You know I always forget.
Yes, it's the National Science Institute Station number 4, my dear boy.
Okay, over and out. Hello, NSI-4 calling anyone who will listen. Oh, bugger it all. I haven't heard back for weeks from anyone.
Excuse me. Dr. Blair, played by a young, lithe Wilford Brimley, sneaks in behind the windows. Say, Windows. I'm Dr. Blair.
Blair, don't interrupt me when I'm...
Biologist.
Don't interrupt me. I could be recording a podcast in here.
Blair's not even looking at Windows.
Blair.
Oh.
I'm over here, Blair.
Bleh.
Don't burst in the middle of when I'm working with my radio equipment. I could be doing any important things in here.
It doesn't look like you're getting much work done. Aren't you getting anybody on the radio? We got an emergency.
No, I've been trying for 2 weeks. I don't expect that anyone's going to all of a sudden be listening today just because we've had a so-called emergency. Now, why don't you leave me to do my work?
Fine, but I'm not pleased about it. Blunk, blunk, blunk.
Blair turns into a gelatinous mass and exits the door without opening it.
Oh boy, Andy, smash cut to the hallway of the rec room. You know how you know this is a 1980s film? I'll tell you.
If your soundtrack is provided by
Jeff Foxworthy stands outside the barred gate of the science base,
workshopping some new equipment.
The guard there refuses to let him in until he can answer the riddle.
If your main character has a mullet and a to-it, you might be an 80s movie.
All right, I'll allow it, says Negreus, the ageless guard.
Mark,
What?
How do we know if we're in an 80s movie?
You know you're in an 80s movie because if there is a young African-American actor, they're going to put a goddamn sweatband on his head. And if it's possible, they're going to make that guy roller skate.
Yeah, the actor who is simultaneously starring in The Warriors and The Thing roller skates over from his other shooting set and joins this movie for the time being.
This actor is inhabiting the role of Knowles, the cook. Knowles roller skates down the hallway elegantly like a swan on roller skates to the rec room. He pauses briefly in the doorway. Maybe we're at war with Norway.
Man, we listen. We wouldn't know what they was doing if we was at war with Norway. Not that we would know anyway what the governments. If we had to rely on the government to tell us what was up, you know what I mean, man?
Palmer, you burn out, Dr. Copper says to Palmer, the assistant mechanic,
That's
smoking
me.
a doobie. If you asked me to get into a vehicle you were piloting, I'd say Norway. Dr. Copper looks around. Huh?
Pretty good.
Thank you, Obi-Wan.
Away.
Obi-Wan Kenobi's ghost is grabbed by the helicopter druid, and they're off to beyond the rainbow.
It never says it in the movie, but Obi-Wan Kenobi is the base's biologist. So
That's right. Now listen, my name's Dr. Copper. This is how I sound now. There's only one way to get to the bottom of this problem. Gotta handle it just like a doctor. We need to dig deeper to the root of the infection, and that root is the Norwegians. So let's go to their base and investigate. It's only an hour away.
I don't know, man. It's looking pretty bad out there. I don't know if Mac's gonna want to go up.
I don't, says R.J. McCready.
I guess we could have just asked him. Jeez, McCready, gotta tie a bell on you.
Yeah, whatever. Now look, McCready kills the rest of his whiskey bottle and throws it through another window, letting the sub-freezing air in. I'm not proud of it, but I know that I'm the best helicopter pilot in this base, so I'll take you to wherever it is you need to go. Who took my keys?
Yeah, they're on your wrist. They're on your wrist, McCready.
Oh yeah, McCready looks down at his scrunchie, through which the keys are laced.
McCready decides the men form up so that McCready, like a captain, can pick his team that's going to go to the Norwegians' base with him.
Ooh, Dr. Copper holds his hand very hard in the air.
Okay, Dr. Copper.
Yes.
And,
Oh, old fellow.
McCready's eyes, skate over windows as if he was not even there. Yeah, that's good. McCready turns on his heel and races out of the room with Dr. Copper hastening in his wake.
Smash cut. We see McCready loading gear into the chopper. From the base.
Stop loading me in the chopper.
Quiet, Gear.
I will be quiet. I'm the base's mechanical engineer.
Gear, a giant talking gear, is gently loaded into a recess in the back seat, which is exactly shaped like him.
I hope you don't need to use me.
That'll be the day. Tap. Excuse me, McCready. It's I, Empty Gary, commander of this base.
Yeah, what is it, Sarge?
Yes, as the owner of the base's pistol, I feel that I should go along just in case you find yourself in a spot of bother.
That's real nice of you to offer, Gary, but we need someone here to watch the base in case something happens. And plus, you know that, what's the guy's name?
You've got Childs to stay here, played by Keith David, a legendary badass.
That's the one, Keith David, who I forgot was in this movie.
He's basically not, old chum.
Keith David? Are you kidding? He's a major character in there.
But I think in reality, he's not actually that important to the movie.
What?
No. I mean, I've watched this movie several times in the past 48 hours, and I think that he's just like a badass dude who gets to like kill stuff in this movie sometimes.
Well, nobody in this movie has what you'd call like an internal journey, really, necessarily.
No. Except for the guys who are infested by the Zerg.
Yeah. Blair, I guess, is also like up there in terms of being a main character.
Andy, it's me, Empty Gary. If you don't want me to go along for the scene, just say so. But it's going to be different than the movie, old chap.
Did you come along in the movie, Empty Gary?
Yes, just look at the tiny nose, old boy.
That's in a later scene. I ain't know the future, Gary. But yeah, why don't you hop in? You can ride side saddle next to Gear here. And the more the merrier.
I brought a hot toddy. Would you care for a swig, Gear, old dear?
Oh, no thanks. I'm on duty.
Gary feels suddenly shamed by a gigantic talking Gear.
Don't we all?
I'm on duty. Oh, and they are off. Wait, no, they're not. Yeah, whatever. They fucking take off. Yeah, that's a pretty good audition piece for the Blue Man Group, Dr. Copper. Now hold your ass on, because we're about to get airborne. Dr. Copper puts away his PVC pipe drums.
I say, old boy, Dr. Copper, what's your canon voice, old fellow?
I'm Dr. Copper.
Oh, so you're sort of a no-nonsense, rootin'-tootin' son of a gun?
So, yes, without the southernness, you can imagine Gregory Peck, I guess, but this is probably not how he sounded.
And McCready, you've decided that you're sort of a, Charlton Heston-style character type of thing?
Well, I guess you could say it's the 1980s and I'm a pretty cool guy, so I sound almost exactly like Harrison Ford. This is how he sounds, right?
Excellent. I'm glad. And McCready, you sort of sound like a giant fishman type of character?
You were just talking to me. I'm McCready.
Oh, I'm thinking of Gear.
You were looking at Gear. I'm Gear, and I talk like Satchmo.
But if you want to hear my impression of McCready, here we go. 1, 2, 3. Oh, God, my brother. Who invited you here?
I'm Counter Gear.
Get him out of here. I'm useless when he's around.
Look, Gear, without me, we can't turn things 2 times. Oh, fuck, I don't know how I work.
He's drunk. I told you we shouldn't have brought him up. I regret putting you up for this job.
Counter Gear is flung bodily from the airborne helicopter.
Hi, I'm lands. Flung bodily.
Oh, I say, it's about time, old chap. All right, the helicopter's in the air. We did that. Smash cut. To things.
Hey, listener, fuck you. We don't have to end any scenes from now on. You think we owe you? You think we gotta, like, tell you what happens in the scene? Sometimes we'll just fucking bail, man. Smash wipe.
I'm bail, man. To the hallway inside the base, we hear Superstition by Stevie Wonder blaring from a boombox. As we can tell, it's being sung by Gear, and one of his demo tapes.
It's all right. It's okay. You can look the other way.
We see that mysterious Alaskan Malamute working its way, skulking even, its way slowly down the empty hallway until it stops beside an open door. It looks in with intensity and sees the silhouette of a man sitting on his bunk. The dog enters the man's room with a real fucked up feeling.
Yeah, that's a really eerie scene in the real movie.
That dog is a good actor.
That dog's a better actor than...
That's a good dog!
That's a good dog!
That was a good dog.
Oh, no! Yeah, the dog is a better actor than several of the humans. I'm not going to say which ones, because they're probably listening. Windows.
Yeah, the actor's name is Thomas Waits, and it's like, I got excited because I was like, ooh, Tom Waits, and then no.
Tom Waits for no man.
Okay, cool.
You all right now? You wait a minute, smash wipe. All right now, you bunch of Nancy drinking tiny pants, get out here. We gotta explore this Norwegian base, and I want to get home before the snow plows in.
Oh my, look how ripped apart and on fire, the bases. It's as though they had some sort of an end of the world celebration. It just went hog wild.
Yes, it's just as I thought. It's probably snow madness. I think it's best if we go in there and steal all of their booze and get out of here as quickly as possible.
I'm on it, says name pun character. Wait, what was his name? It was like Flyaway Jones or
Flyaway Jones?
Fly covers all or something like that.
Who are you talking about?
You threw him in when they were getting airborne.
Oh, Fling Bodily.
Thank you. Jesus. Says Fling Bodily.
The men split up for some reason and start exploring the base. Almost immediately, Copper stumbles upon the burnt up bodies of men.
Many in the men.
Hey, Mac, get over here.
Oh, geez. Mac comes out of the base with the frozen corpse of a Norwegian who slashed his own throat and wrists. I thought mine was cool, but you really got to one-up me, eh, Doc?
Well, now, why did you bring that out of there, Mac?
I thought we could maybe examine it. I don't know. You're the Doc. Goose.
Am I?
A goose walks by. It steals their bonnet. A little mission on its list of missions is crossed off.
I say, fellas, come on over here. I have found something that tops either of those things.
Oh, good luck topping this weird mutant charred corpse thing we were looking at. Mac and Copper run over to Gary,
who has discovered a 10-foot by 6-foot tomb of ice that looks like it maybe once contained something the size of a man or slightly larger. However, the ice has been burst open from the inside.
What is this? President Taft's bathtub?
Oh, excellent, old chap. Very good.
Fly by night. What's the name? What's the guy's?
Fling Bodily.
Thank you. Fling Bodily.
You're going to want to keep my name out of your mouth, Mark Soloff. It's me, Fly by Night.
Oh my god, Fly by Night.
You say my name 2 more times, I'll appear behind you. And let me tell you something, that's the last thing you ever see.
Oh boy, sorry.
That's
Mr.
okay.
By Night.
That's Dr. By Night to you.
Dr. By Night. Fling Bodily races out of the Norwegian base. What? Did you guys forget about me again? Come on. I'm a person.
Yeah, I guess we did there, Fling. Hang on.
Hey, Fling, why don't you get back in that chopper and keep Gear company?
Yeah, we singing 99 bottles of beer on the wall in here.
Gear's amazingly loud singer's voice projects out of the closed helicopter and through the canyon where the men stand.
We're down to 45, but there's still a lot of fun to be had.
Oh shit, he's created an avalanche with his sonic boom.
We better get out of here.
Thanks, my inner monologue. Oh, quickly, grab those disgusting, twisted, burnt-up humanoid things on your way to the chopper. You never know.
Dr. Copper and Mac tuck the twisted remains of one or several men, under their arm and race back towards the helicopter.
Huff, puff, huff, puff, huff, puff.
Gary leaps up and grabs the spinning rotor of the of the chopper and rides it around as it takes off into the air.
There's no time.
Up and away, old chaps! It's just like Dunkirk again.
The helicopter rises just as the gigantic wave of hard-packed snow crashes down on the Norwegians' base, vanishing any evidence that was previously there.
Oh, yeah.
You think they'll have that on the tour?
Smash wipe. The helicopter lands at the exterior of the National Science Infantry Science Base number 4.
The men rush out of the base and help our helicopter friends carry the big old weird warped corpses of the thing into the infirmary.
Hey, what you got there, Mac? Yeah, what you got there, Mac? Hey, I'm gonna put my finger on it.
This isn't for you to eat. This is for you to look at, you old son of a go.
Oh, man. The men...
The gear.
Go ahead.
That's the Gear's voice.
That's the Gear and also various men. The guy who did the Gear's voice was brought in later in post to add some, what's it called when you do ADR?
ADR.
Yeah.
It's called Dance Dance Revolution. Oh, if only we had Dance Dance Revolution in this time of quarantine. I wouldn't even notice.
Would you be playing Dance Dance Revolution right now?
No, it made me tired out.
That's a game for people with physical prowess.
It's a young man's game.
It's a young man's game.
Oh, Dr. Blair. Here we are in the infirmary of the base. The men pull the tarpaulin off of the weird corpse, unveiling it in all its cinematic glory. This thing is a twisted amalgamation of human forms and organs. It is shiny with a film of mucus, and it's emitting a nauseating steam. Even old Wilford Brimley has to hold his mustache over his mouth to keep from upchucking.
Now, fellas, some of this is me. I'm going to be brutally honest. But a lot of it this time seems to be coming from this twisted corpse thing that you guys brought back. Where'd you find this?
Well, we found it in the Norwegian base from whence we came. It's me, Gary. Empty Gary.
Did we find it, really? Mac looks at Copper and shrugs at him.
Yes? Why are you being weird and suspicious?
I seem to remember Gary being off looking at a big old pile of ice when we were doing the hard work, but whatever.
Oh, hey, I wasn't the only one. Have you forgotten... Have you forgotten my good friend who is a person that exists? Whose name is not Dr. Bynite. It is...
That's two. You're
No,
using them up a little bit too fast there, buddy.
I didn't say the whole thing. I didn't say the whole thing.
You're going to want to be real careful.
I was not alone. I was with Flung bodily.
That's right. He was with me the whole time.
Is that what his name was?
It's Fling bodily, but I'll forgive you this time, Mr. Gary.
Flung's my baby son.
Oh, as I was saying, gentlemen.
All the men filled with testosterone Hoo-Rah at each other instinctively.
Please don't do it. It's going to save us a lot of time if you fellas don't do that every time I say gentlemen.
Yes, everybody, that's enough with the Hoo-Rah.
Hoo-Rah!
Hoo-Rah. Hoo-Rah.
All right. But listen, this thing looks like a combination of multiple DNAs. You got human, you got bug, you got dog.
Suddenly, from the doorway, everybody notices the weird dog is staring at the men intently. Palmer walks in just behind the dog. Sorry, I was just oohing to myself, 'cause that's what I'm stoned when I do. Oops.
Smash wipe. Everyone shakes their head at Palmer.
We see the hands of the clock ticking forward and the men's stubble growing. It is later in the same area. The
She
infirmary.
glanced this way. I thought I saw. And when we touched, she didn't shudder at my paw. No, it can't be. I'll just ignore.
but then she's never looked at me that way before.
That's a pretty good song, Blair, but I, Dr. Copper, have something to report. This beast has normal human organs.
What?
We see Dr. Copper holds up 2 buckets filled with disgusting John Carpenter-esque goo. Both are labeled normal human organs.
Why are you trying to save them there, Doc? I feel like we could just throw those out.
I was raised in a commune, and we used every part of the animal there.
Okay.
My name's Fucks, says Fuchs.
Where are we?
In the infirmary. We're just about to go into number 14. Little peek behind the gilded curtain, ladies and gentlemen.
If you guys are wondering where we're going, if you're following along at home, go ahead and flip forward to section 14.
Go through your annotated tiny notes and advance to 14, the kennel.
But then she's never looked at me that way before. What do you think about that, dog?
Thanks. I thought it was pretty good myself.
Clark, the large, simple, straightforward sled dog handler of the base, because every base needs a sled dog handler, leads the newcomer dog into the caged room where they keep at least 4 other sled dogs, probably 6. I don't know. I get dog blindness.
I feel like there's also varying numbers of dogs in some of the scenes, because like 2 of them get away, and then the thing eats like 4 of them, and then there's somehow like
Spoiler?
more later. Sorry, everyone stop listening. Bleep out the last 6 minutes.
Quick, delete this episode, download This American Life, listen to it all, and shoot yourself in the head.
Boy, oh boy.
That's where I go when I'm running low on improv fuel.
Now get on in there, dog. Get on in there. Come on now.
Bark, whine, bark.
No, don't you talk back to your mother now. Get in with them other dogs.
The newcomer dog very slowly, very deliberately stalks into the room filled with really cute, snoozing Alaskan dogs. The gate is shut behind them and locked. The newcomer dog sits down and waits.
And waits.
And waits. 1,000 years pass.
Ah, yes, the dog, man's best friend. But you, young one, you seem to be a little bit different than your average canine beast. I wonder what we shall see,
Yes.
Through the window, the helicopter druid peers in at the scene. He can watch, but he cannot interfere.
To the moon.
All of a sudden, the dog, lays his head back and starts making a eerie hissing noise. His body begins to tremble and shake. The other dogs immediately, their hackles rise and they start to bark and then to whine and freak out at this otherworldly sound.
Hey, remember Stranger Things when the monster's face opened up in 4 different directions to reveal just a gaping chasm of sharp teeth?
Yep.
Guess where they got that from?
It's the thing! Yeah, it's really, great and gross. One of the dogs starts, tearing apart the fence to try and escape from the kennel, which is, somehow, the scariest part of this, I thought. That it was,
Yeah.
That's a good dog actor, too. Really good dog actors in this movie.
To see, an animal endangering its, gums and teeth by pulling apart metal in fear is a very compelling and frightening thing to watch.
You know what's sad about the dog actors in this movie, Mark?
What?
Is that they got paid peanuts. Now, for that dog to work, for the purposes of this joke, let's pretend that dogs love peanuts.
Or that dogs are elephants.
Oh, yeah, that's easier. Let's pretend the dogs are elephants.
Okay, so the alien, taking the guise of an elephant, storms into the base and is locked into the kennel with all the other sled elephants.
Turns out I can't do an elephant noise. Can you do an elephant noise?
Whee!
Nope.
I can, but it takes a couple tries and it's very loud, and I don't want to do it in the mic.
Buy me dinner first.
All right, I kind of have to now because I mentioned it as a fucking podcast. So
Okay, here we go. Here we go. That was really good.
First time. Thank
That's
you. I
really
did that
good.
with my asshole. Anyway, the dog chewing its way out of the metal fence is suddenly sprayed with a purple slime. Ew! It whines and runs away from the fence, deeper into the chamber.
Buy me dinner first, says the dog.
Clark, the gentle giant, rushes in to investigate. He unlatches the darkened cage, and fleeing sled dogs bowl him over. He is thrown onto the floor.
Hey,
as
come
these,
on back. Come on back, you dogs. Oh, no.
says Gear, but he's helpless to pursue them since he's hanging in his special hook harness.
I told
on the
you,
wall.
you gotta make me a special chair for moments just such as these.
Sorry, Gear. One of these days, old buddy. Oh, look at that abomination, says Clark as he looks in and sees all these horrible, writhing, red, like licorice-looking tubes of tentacles from the hideous transforming alien inside the cage. Says the alien. Clark jumps to his feet, locks the door, and scrambles out of there.
Smash wipe to the kitchen, Mac.
And cheese.
Oh boy. Like subconsciously, I think I knew that was gonna happen.
Yeah, because in our tiny notes it says kitchen - Mac, and it's like it's coming.
It's coming. Yeah. And you could hear it in my voice. I left a little groove for you to just nestle into.
That's how you know that we are an expert team.
That's
is I write down a joke on our notes, and then you leave a groove for me to deliver that joke.
That's right. I'm just reading down a list of Mark's pre-written jokes here as we do them.
Yeah, it's great.
It's very easy for me. Smash wipe to the kitchen, Mac. Here's a scream echo down the hallway. A scream, somewhere between a scream and a howl. Without
Oh, Jesus, my ex-wife back in town. Hey, old bottle.
Listen, Mac, you really should. Maybe you should sit down for a little bit, take a break, huh, buddy?
Yeah, whatever. I'll take a break. He shatters the bottle. Pretty good. Oh, yeah. Fire alarm.
Mac immediately pulls the fire alarm. Any howling on base is immediate grounds for evacuation.
That's right. Thinking his ex-wife has gotten into the base, Mac grabs a weapon and urges all the men to hurry confusedly down the hallway to the kennel.
Meanwhile, back at the kennel, Clark hides around the corner from the rampaging beast in the cage.
Hey, Mac, come over here, Mac.
What is it, Clark?
Oh,
Why
what am
are
I
you hiding?
Something went wrong with that dog I put in there. He's gone all crazy.
You probably put him in backwards.
No, not this time. I double checked. No, something different.
Did you blow on him? Make sure there's no dust in the terminals?
Yeah, of course. I do that for all dogs before I put them away for the evening. But something's gone wrong with this one.
Gear, what do you have to say about this situation? Max is turning to the gear that's mounted on the wall.
There's something sweet and almost kind, but he was mean and he was coarse and unrefined. But now he's dear and so unsure. I wonder why I didn't see it there before.
Oh, it's a riddle, is it? All right. I have no time for this. Mac takes his cool 80s shotgun and blasts open the lock to the cage. The cage opens, and from the darkness squicks a bloody, half-formed dog thing. It takes up the whole center of the cage. Tentacles fly out of it and wrap two of the helpless sled dogs in its vicinity.
I'm gonna have to recover from that. I gotta recover from that scream. Pretty good alien noise, though, huh?
Yeah, thank you for really sacrificing your body for your art.
Yeah, enjoy it. That's the last one I'll be able to do, it seems like.
That's okay.
We spent the whole budget on that one scream.
We'll fix it in post.
Oh, no.
Max shoots the two captured sled dogs. Gotta kill the hostages. We don't negotiate with terrorists.
No! Clark leaps out and knocks Mac's gun hand away, which is possibly the dumbest. Max scrambles in the dark for his fallen hand. Now, Clark, that's the dumbest thing you could have done. You know my hand is made of life-giving copper.
Well, it's not Dr. Copper. It's me, Childs, the mechanic.
Childs.
Childs. Keith Davis, the badass. Keith David.
Childs,
Jonathan
the badass.
Davis.
Child Davis.
Hi, I'm Childs. Says a pair of conjoined twins that are 5.
Childs, who is secretly 2 5-year-olds in a trench coat, wanders in wearing a flamethrower. The top bends backwards as the two try and catch their balance. I'll take care of this beast. Childs opens fire, literally, on the horrible alien monster. A sheet of flame bathes the beast. There is you also see like some part of its body detach and run up into the rafters, but that never comes back later. So I guess it was just a red herring.
I know. Yeah, I get lost at how many things there are and like where they are, but needless to say, we see that this organism can detach part of itself, mutate and get hooks and talons and stuff, and rip its way out of the ceiling.
Did anybody bring the barbecue sauce? Says Childs, turning with a childlike grin to the rest of the men.
Oh, Childs, you're always thinking about food.
All of the men slap each other on the back and head back to the infirmary to have a well-earned party.
But when the men reach the infirmary, they see Blair there, standing with his autopsy kit at the ready and an empty autopsy table. They walk in, and Blair treats them to such an expression of fixed expectation that the men are shamed into returning back to the kennel to pick up the charred corpse and bring it into the infirmary.
We was gonna bring it, Blair. We was gonna bring it. We just forgot.
That's more like it. I don't like to see slip-ups like this in a base. I run a tight ship.
Now, you don't run... I just have to repeat, Blair, you do not run the ship at all. You're just... You do the autopsies. And are you also a doctor?
Yes, I'm Dr. Blair. I'm the head biologist.
What's the difference between you and Dr. Copper? I get so confused, you see, with all of you gentlemen.
Okay, my name is Dr. Blair. I'm the head biologist. Dr. Copper is also a medical doctor. He's more of like the old sawbones to patch people up. And as you can see, he's a well-known alchemist who can change copper into gold.
And I am the head mechanical engineer,
says Gear.
In case anyone has forgotten.
Remember, Gear has such a powerful voice it carries from his resting place on the side of the kennel hallway.
I think no one thought to bring me into the infirmary to hear the expedition. I guess I'll just hang here in the dark.
Don't worry about Gear, says Dr. Copper. He's always feeling left out because I won't transmute him into a more precious metal.
I'll wear you down someday, Dr. Copper.
Oxygen and water will wear you down, Gear.
The men laugh hesitantly, none of them quite understanding the joke.
Well, anyway, while you guys were playing grab ass, I was doing a fast autopsy on this thing.
Bush shows them a hot dog.
I think that we should come up with a different name for it. We can't just keep calling it the thing.
That's an excellent point, Childs. I'm Dr. Copper. What do we call it, Childs?
How about we call it how about we call it, what's a good name for a monster? Oh, let's call it Jaws, because it's got so many jaws.
All right, I'll take it. I was going to go with Alien, but Jaws is fine as well.
I don't know, Alien seems like kind of a generic name for a monster.
Let's call it It.
That's a better idea, yep.
Sounds great.
If I could have the, if I could have the floor back, please. I was just about to tell you all about the thing.
Sorry about that. Dr. Copper transmutes the floor back into its tile.
Thank you.
Changing it from the grass that it was.
Now, this thing appears to be able to take over the DNA and absorb any life form surrounding it and create a perfect copy.
Now, wait a minute. Quick point of order.
Let me finish
Dr.
first.
Blair,
Cold
Dr. Blair,
questions till the end.
You called it a thing. I think we all agreed that we're calling it.
I apologize. The
Can we
it.
go? Yeah, thank you. I feel much more comfortable.
I think you can make sure you keep me honest, Childs, and I appreciate it.
I'll keep you honest, old friend, says Gary, clapping Blair on the back.
Not appreciated, Gary. Anyway, I think if y'all hadn't interrupted it, this thing.
No, excuse me, just real quick. Says like Child's, like a lower section, bizarrely.
What?
I think what my pelvis is trying to say is you did call it a thing once again.
I apologize. Okay.
Let's start from the beginning.
Oh, jeez, we're gonna be here all night.
Robert's rules of order, old boy. We'll keep restarting this until we have it right. It'll
He
save us time
raises
in the
a
long
good
run.
point, says Fling bodily.
No, he doesn't. Okay, now as I was saying, this it can absorb the DNA of other creatures. If you hadn't all interrupted it, it probably would have made a bunch of perfect copies of these dogs, and then we would have had a bunch of alien dogs. Why, it could have already taken over any one of us.
We'd have so many more cute puppies.
Yay!
Yay!
Says the lower half of Childs.
He does raise a good point. An entity that can imitate animals could be an endless source of protein for the starving people of the world.
Now, I think we're all forgetting the main point here, which is that you're saying that any one of us two could be one of these its?
That's right. Even me, Gear, hanging back here by the kennel.
Wait, Gear, are you an alien?
No, I'm not an it. I am Gear,
Oh boy.
chief
It's-
mechanic.
There's so many proper nouns around here, I feel like I'm at a noun convention.
Good one, says Fling bodily, patting Mac on the back, trying to ingratiate himself to the group.
Mac punches himself in the balls surreptitiously as punishment.
Smash cut to the kennel. Dr. Blair and Clark, the dog tender, are kneeling near the one remaining dog. Yes, Dr. Clark, doctor of dogs, is drawing blood from the one
I've
surviving
been
dog.
taking classes at night, and I just now got my postdoctorate degree 5 minutes ago, Blair.
Boy, oh boy, University of Phoenix. Call yourself a doctor. I'm a biologist.
There's an awful lot of... Now listen, an education is an education. There's an awful lot of classism involved in... just because I didn't go to no Ivy League institution, and also because I exclusively eat chocolate,
You don't give me the respect that I deserve, Mr. Blair.
You know what, Dr. Clark? I guess I have been
Thank
underestimating you.
you.
Because I also attempt to eat all chocolate all the time and can't seem to do it. You've done it, and you still are rather svelte, so you're doing something right.
Well, it seems we found a point of similarity off of which we can build a beautiful friendship.
Okay, one thing at a time. Hey,
Blair suddenly takes a flashlight and shines it directly into Clark's face.
how much time did you spend alone with that alien dog?
I don't know, 2 to 4 hours, I suppose.
Blair looks at his notes. It reads, incubation time to perfect imitation, 2-4 hours.
Huh, very interesting.
His wings unfurl and flap gently behind him.
Smash cut. A room. The men of the base are reviewing video footage of the Norwegians.
Now, how are we supposed to learn anything from watching this crap? How much more of this is there, Copper?
Well, there seems to be just enough to satisfy a man. I mean, there's probably 12 to 20 hours of this.
Copper pats the stack of tapes next to him in a self-satisfied manner.
One of them reads, Dick Bay.
Now, gentlemen, I'm happy to watch this footage from start to finish multiple times if I have to figure out what happened to these men. Why don't you all go get some shut-eye while I carry on with my important research?
Yeah, blah, blah, blah. We could do that or just fast forward to the end of the last tape, Einstein.
Yo. The men fast forward to the end of the final tape.
They see a bunch of bloody Norwegian corpses strewn throughout their base.
Yeah, so to whomever finds this, a couple things. First of all, the skins did end up winning 15-14. I want to go ahead and write that down.
What an upset.
Gunther does, we do owe Gunther 25 kroner if anybody finds this, so I'm not sure if he's going to be able to collect any more. Also, we have been,
The one remaining Norwegian splits apart in an orgy of blood and tentacles.
The video goes to static. Oh, wait just a minute there. Reverse, enhance. They zoom
We
into...
owe Gunther 25 kroner.
Right there, freeze it. They stop the video and zoom in. They see on the wall the address of the dig site where they extracted the alien.
1122 Boogie Woogie Avenue.
Well, it's worth a shot. As you know, I think we should treat every mystery like a hospital patient and just get as far into it as possible.
To the Macmobile.
That's right, Gear. Here we go.
Mac, Gary, Gear, and a person we haven't seen much from yet, Vance Norris, the pudgy geologist, hop back into Mac's chopper and take off giggling into the Antarctic sky.
What about me? Did you replace me with Gear?
We can't bring you along on this one, Sarge. No room for you with Vance taking up the shotgun spot.
All right, I'll just Morty, stay here with bated breath.
Smash Wipe 2. A giant crater in the ground. The helicopter comes to a
Complete stop.
complete stop. Everyone inside looks both left and right before exiting the vehicle.
Well, as you can see, it's a giant crater in the ground, which seems to be housing a huge flying saucer. We better rappel down and get a closer look. You guys bring your rappel cables?
I brought my grappling hook. Being as a geologist, I never go anywhere without it.
Vance Norris, I knew I could count on you.
Yes, I'm the most advanced Norris of my time.
All right, let's hop to it. Hot, sweet.
Ben.
Mac looks accusingly at his half-drunk bottle of whiskey.
That ain't me, buddy. I told you to leave me back at the base. Also, you've been flying a lot for as much as you've had to drink.
Yeah, it's pretty easy.
Oh,
You
dear.
just hit the up button.
Last one in's a rotten egg.
Whoa!
Bence rappels down the side of the crater, directly on top of what appears to be a metal structure buried in the ice? What?
Wow, 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 wow. Mac follows him shortly thereafter. Mac and Norris trudge their way across the vast metal expanse that is the strange craft.
Well, tasting this ice as I am with my bifurcated tongue, I can tell that this is over 100,000 years old.
Well, how can that be possible? This looks like state-of-the-art sheet metal. Looks like it was fabricated yesterday.
Yes, yes.
Norris puts a practiced hand upon the craft.
This is old magic.
And those fucking Norwegians blew it up.
Mac holds a clenched fist in the air.
He looks at a tattoo of the Norwegian flag with a Ghostbusters-style cross over it, and his eyes narrow to slits of vengeance.
Excellent.
Let it fill you.
Smash cut to the rec room at night. Night has descended upon the rec room, and the men of the base are anxiously doing their old activities, playing cards, playing ping pong, and pouring liquor into the chess machine.
This cheating bitch. Am I right, everybody?
Yeah, you're right, man, says Palmer,
Hey,
with
did you
two
guys-
joints protruding from his nostrils.
Did you guys ever, did any of you ever try and fuck the chess lady?
We all did, man. Come on.
Yeah, I was hoping it wasn't just me.
Yeah, it's hard though because it's just like a machine.
I'll say it is.
Yeah. Oh, all right. Palmer reaches a hand out for a high five.
Hand
Child's-
emerges from the center of the trench coat and high fives Palmer.
Whoa! I gotta cut down on this. Palmer says, looking at his pot reserves.
Knowles skates in as he always does. Fellas,
Fellas,
now I'm gonna ask you. We all have to share a small and confined space. So one thing I'm gonna ask you is to not throw your dirty old drawers in the kitchen and just leave them there for somebody else to have to pick up. You know, you're just making work for other people when you don't take care of it yourself, gentlemen. Okay?
Knowles holds up a vacuum-sealed bag in his obsessive-compulsive hand, which contains shredded-up long johns. All the men guiltily hang their heads and then surprisedly look at each other and point. You too? You too?
You?
You as well?
Me?
I thought, oh, wow. I guess everyone's in on it.
Well, listen, we've all had a little long john mistake now and then. It's nothing we have to hold against one another. But as I was trying to say before we were so rudely interrupted, it was a flying saucer, gentlemen. A saucer that flies through the air. But in this case, it was buried deep beneath the ice.
Wait a minute, man, Palmer says, taking another toke. You telling me it's real, actual, factual E.T.?
Well, I don't know what you want to call it, but the fact is it was there. And we need to be prepared. I don't think we should leave one another's sights.
Why? What do we even know about it?
It's old. It's angry. And it's out for blood.
Oh, jinkies.
Says Velma. Smash Wipe 2. Blair's lab. He sits in front of a old-timey computer that's only got 3 pixels on screen, representing cells.
He is slowly turning the crank to make sure the computer stays on.
Do-do-do-do-do-do-do.
We see the ballet of the low-res cells unfold before Dr. Blair's eyes. The blue dog cells are approached by a triangular red intruder cell, which stabs them and then wears their skin. A perfect imitation. Blair rubs his eyes incredulously. He sees this horror show of cellular deformity and types a question into his computer that is smarter than modern computers are.
Yes, I'm sorry, Blair, but I'm afraid that the probability that one or more of the team members is currently infected is 75%.
Oh my god. Okay, computer, what happens if...
Please don't make references to religion.
Oh, sorry. What happens if it reaches civilization?
Probability that the thing takes over civilization.
No, wait, what? Hold on. Control Z. Oh, boy.
Here's what I
explain to this
found.
program that we're calling it now. I don't know. Basic.
Did you ask where to find free dumplings in downtown San Francisco?
Well, yes, I could use that knowledge.
Here's what I found.
Click the I feel lucky button.
Probability that if it reaches civilization is fully infected within 5 years, 100%.
Holy mother of stuff.
Don't say thank you.
I didn't. I know. Whenever you visit me and your mother, we don't talk politics or religion.
Sorry about your sky wizard, but I don't believe in that sort of thing. It just seems like we don't need it nowadays, you know.
We'll see who comes out on top in the end. Old buddy.
That's what she said. Aha.
Fuck you.
Blair pours his whiskey into the keyboard. Blair then shakes his head. He looks over his shoulder at the men in the rec room and pulls a revolver from his desk.
All right, I gotta pee, says the revolver.